Wow.
Yeah, 55 acres of solar field. This is Mount Ascutney. It's its own mountain range within itself. We're coming up on the Ottawa-Quechua River. We're going to be right here at the bottom of the Quechua Gorge. Little splash.
Welcome to Vermont.
American author Pearl S. Buck once said, "Vermont is a jewel state, small but precious. And whether you come here to take in its breathtaking foliage, learn its trailblazing history of independent thinking, or enjoy the creative diversity around every corner, one rule rings true. To fully experience Vermont, you must be willing to slow down and enjoy the little things in life." Which in our case includes local produce, good spirits, new friends, and a beautiful backdrop.
Cheers! Welcome to Vermont.
Like here, at Killeen Crossroads Farm. This is my first ever true farm-to-table dinner, and what an incredible community to get to share this experience with. And while Sas Stewart and the folks at Adventure Dinner are usually curating locally sourced meals for visitors and residents alike, tonight is special. We invited food purveyors from around the state to spend some time with me to enjoy the fruits of their hard-earned labor.
And all of the vegetables are grown here.
So celery, hackerite turnips, radishes, and fennel.
How important is community to you and to your business?
Yeah, well, I think community is everything, right? I think you can't be in isolation and do anything in food and drink, but really more broadly, when you are in a place, you are of that place. And what we do is highlight the stories of the people and places that make Vermont really special.
And one such story is
This is our fondue featuring Jasper Hill.
Jasper Hill Farm, proving that when it comes to cheese, taking things slow goes a long way.
I think about cheese making as a craft. We execute at a high technical level in order to produce maximum deliciousness day in and day out. It starts with fertility in the soil and the grass, and you take the cheese out of the cellar, you crack it open, and it is like summer.
You can taste the grass, in a sense, in the cheese.
Absolutely.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's been a journey, riding the crest of this amazing wave of artisan foods. All cheese has the same four ingredients. It's milk, cultures, rennet, salt.
So I do not know what rennet is.
Should we look at our rennet?
Yeah.
This is the fourth stomach of an unweaned calf, and it's pretty fundamental to the cheese-making process.
Yeah. Rennet helps form solid curds from the milk.
See that?
Yeah, you can literally feel it like congealing.
Yeah.
Whoa! And is crucial in finding the right flavor and the right shaping texture for cheese.
Something new is waiting to be born!
This is the cheese!
It's like a library of our labor, which we keep anywhere between 9 and 18 months.
I'm kind of speechless right now.
Cheese is an original form of capital. This is like a piggy bank of milk.
Let's name her Angelica. Oh my goodness. Angelica, what an angel.
It's so good.
There's so many flavors.
I'm gonna top off the wine.
And providing the refreshments for the evening, Kalchē Wine Co-operative.
These are all Vermont's cold hardy grapes. It's really drinks like a rosé, it's just very dark.
A local winery that makes the most out of their land and their community.
We're a worker cooperative and a winery, and we like to say that we make hybrid space juice. So we work with hybrid grapes bred at the University of Wisconsin to withstand extreme cold. Something really yummy and futuristic and cool, and we're doing it all together and equally.
Yeah, more of that. Kalchē's winery shares a land with Vermont Cranberry Company. Infusing their wine with cranberries is just another way that makes their wine unique.
Oh, okay. It's like the bubble wrap.
It's like the bubble wrap.
With your feet.
Walk around. The purpose of this is to break up the clusters.
Okay.
The foot is like the perfect tool because you have the whole weight of your body pressing down on it. I'll put on a fast-paced song and power for 2 minutes. It's like beatboxing, so you can speed it up.
Ooh. Historically speaking, in wine, the price tag on the bottle has a lot to do with family legacy. It associates luxury value with someone being a landowner, being a generational business owner.
I have a cheers that I learned in Costa Rica that I can teach you guys.
It keeps people from coming in. It keeps things from being able to be changed.
Al centro, al dentro. You chug, usually. You don't have to chug the wine though. This is good wine, so don't chug it.
The winemakers working every day, the folks that are laboring in the fields, they don't have a ton of access to ownership in winemaking. We wanted to change that.
We want to show people that it is possible to leverage your community and make something beautiful that is worth talking about.
Can you see the rainbow?
It's a good one.
Live in a very rural part of Vermont, and so there's not a lot of luxuries, but having a dinner like this with a bunch of things that we produced, this is our luxury.
And while the final chapter of this feast ends with a sparkling send-off, there are many more stories waiting to be experienced in Vermont. The idyllic town of Stowe, Vermont is considered the fall foliage capital of the U.S. And nestled in Stowe's misty mountains is the Trapp Family Lodge. That's right, the Von Trapp family who inspired the sound of music.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
I want you to take me back into the history and the point in time that inspired where we are today.
Wow, how much time do you have?
People know from the movie that the family left Austria to escape the Nazis. They came to the United States on a singing tour, and then they came up to Vermont because they were looking for a place that reminded them of Salzburg, and they saw this view, they saw this beautiful property, they fell in love.
Our dad is Johannes von Trapp. He's the youngest of the 3 children that Maria and the captain had together. So he was actually not in the movie, which gets confusing for people. So Maria is our grandmother, and we grew up with her living here in the hotel, and we grew up a mile down the road.
Were you close with your grandmother?
Yeah.
We were. It was nice living so close to her because when it was just us with the family, she would relax a little bit more. Whereas when there were other people around, she would sort of learn to put on her public persona. So it was nice to get those pure moments where we could just be with her as our grandmother. Maria's thinking was, this place is too lovely to keep to ourselves, that we need to share it, and that was why she wanted to open it up to others.
For almost 75 years, the Trapp Family Lodge has been drawing nature lovers to its picturesque grounds. And when it's leaf peeping season, they offer many different ways to take in the natural surroundings.
Woo! This trail.
Mountain biking's become a big part of what we do here in the summer. We've got a beautiful trail system here. It's a really great way to explore nature. And of course, we make sure that all of our network trails lead into fun places like the beer hall. Our father, Johannes, had a great vision. He was wondering why the lagers were underrepresented in the US in the craft brewing scene. And he decided to start his own brewery, making traditional Austrian, Bavarian style lagers.
Here's to a little of Austria, a lot of Vermont.
A lot of Vermont.
Prost. Yeah, our dad came up with that. A little of Austria, a lot of Vermont.
What is it about the kind of community and lifestyle here in Vermont that's similar to that of Austria?
You know, Austrians are just so hands-on, and that's what we do. We have our own cattle here, we have chickens, recreation. Our land has charisma. There's just something about this property that is just really peaceful, and you land here and you're like, I've arrived.
They feel connected to the land, and you give them so many opportunities to explore it in different ways, whether it is the skiing or the mountain biking or simply just walking around learning your family history.
The chapel was built by our Uncle Werner when he came back from World War II as an American.
Rupert and Werner are uncles who were portrayed in the musical as Friedrich and Kurt. They were drafted into the U.S. Army. They joined the 10th Mountain Division, and they fought against the Nazis in Europe. And that's a part of the story that we're very proud of that a lot of people don't know, because the movie ends with their departure from Austria.
Do you ever get tired of talking about the sound of music? I mean, how many people come through here, and I'm sure you get questions about it every day.
We have learned that people get really emotional around the movie because the sound of music gives so many people hope. It may be the millionth time we've heard that question, but it's the first time that you're asking it. So we will always take time for that.
You ready?
I think so.
Okay.
As ready as one can be.
Oh, The Green Mountain State was recently crowned as the state with the most working artists per capita, and many of those artisans have settled in Vermont's biggest city, Burlington.
The shop is like a dream. I mean, you have everything that is handmade, from glass to clay, or maybe something that makes you feel like you're literally in a dream. But the real dream is being able to work with your hands and be a part of a community.
Hi. Oh, hey, what are you guys? I was just looking at this wonderful ornament.
Welcome to AO Glass.
Thank you. Who is this guy?
That is Champ, and Champ is a Lake Champlain sea monster, a lot like the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland.
Tova Olanda and Rich Artisan are owners of AO Glass. The couple have been molding glass masterpieces since they met at the National School of Glass in Sweden nearly 30 years ago.
In Sweden, the glass factory was the center of the community, especially in winter. People would come in and stand around the fires, and I really like that authentic interaction that I experienced there, so I try to bring that back.
There's a conservation piece to it as well. Conserving a trade or a craft, that's strong here in Vermont, I think.
So we're going to start with a blowpipe. This is a hollow steel tube. I'm going to take a little gather.
Which is essentially like just melted glass, right?
And we're just going to roll this into our crushed up glass. Excellent.
Making a pork chop.
Exactly. We're just kind of breading it up just a little bit. You'll start to be able to see that color start to melt to the surface.
A little bit.
Picks up all those nice blue speckles.
Now blow really hard?
Yep, hammer it.
There's something primordial about standing around a fire or telling stories, and it's a little bit what attracts people here.
That's so pretty.
Just want to take a big bite?
Oddly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It always captures some essence of what unifies us from our primordial past.
Look at that.
Burnt
I
orange.
love it. Like a flower.
Like a flower, exactly. And you don't have to water it.
Another artist drawing inspiration from Vermont's artistic spirit is Brielle Rovito of Dust and Form.
This is called Slip. It's a liquid clay.
Through the age-old technique of slip casting, sculptural pieces are created with the intent of forging a human connection.
You're probably used to people throwing on the wheel.
Yeah, I'm thinking of ghosts, right?
100% ghosts, yes. Oh my gosh, what a vibe. But this is a way to essentially replicate the same object over and over again using these plaster molds. Plaster acts like this sponge, and it absorbs the moisture in the clay. You're having this clay kind of coat the outside, and then eventually we'll dump it out, and then you'll be able to see the form at the end. Yeah, that's perfect.
What do you think, though, about the pace of Vermont? Yeah. I've noticed it feels like it's a more intentional, slow pace. People are paying more attention to their surroundings or the people that they're with.
I think people here care about balancing out their life with activities and recreation, and having more space for expression and creativity. We chose Burlington because of the arts community and because of the creative liveliness that is here. There's something really special about having that in Vermont. These are the pieces that we made.
Nice.
The process for me is definitely a means to communicate a sense of calm and peace and sort of connectedness that prompts a level of like,
Yeah, I feel it. I feel them.
Yeah. And I actually call these the heme forms, and heme is one of the molecules that's found in all plants and animals and humans and everything. So it's a connector, and I think I care a lot about finding these little things that bring us all together and give common ground.
We do have a parting gift for you.
For me?
You're a great student, and we'd love to have you visit. I hope you drink beer.
I do. Look, it says First Look Vermont.
It's less about the art, it's more about offering connection to people.
Oh, thank you.
It's what we do.
Tucked into the vast forest of Vermont's Northeast Kingdom.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the Bread and Puppet Museum.
I'm speechless.
Is one of Vermont's cultural treasures.
This is Mother Earth, probably my favorite.
It's revered by locals, but if you weren't in the know, you just might miss it.
This is a calamity. We can't listen. Can we get a lot of more ears here?
Husband and wife Peter and Elke Schumann initially created the radical political theater in New York City. And through the years, they have been addressing pressing social issues and injustices with puppetry and pageantry.
Unite against the idiot system.
The theater is very well known for our large-scale puppets.
Yummy, yes.
And 99.9% what you see sculpted in the museum was sculpted by Peter Schumann.
Peter's passion for puppets began as a keepsake when he fled his war-torn home of Silesia, a country divided between Poland and Germany after World War II.
The idiot system. Our entertainment at home, we didn't have radio, we didn't have TV, any of that stuff. We had a blanket between two chairs and we had the hand puppets. And then when we fled, our parents allowed each one of us to take a bag. And I took the puppets.
What was your wife like? I'd love to know more about her.
She is in the graveyard, you can visit her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll tell you. Well, we grew up in slums in New York. That's how we afforded to live, yeah.
And then you came out here.
My wife's parents bought this thing. Land was super cheap. That was in '74 we moved here. Oh, imagine how long that's 50 years ago.
Coming up on the anniversary, 50th anniversary of being here.
50 years of community, art, activism, and self-reliance.
And when you're living and working here, you're a part of the theater, I'm sure, in many different ways.
Yeah. Saying that you are a puppeteer in the context of Bread and Puppet, we are also maintaining over 100 acres of property. That means you have to be able to do everything. A really beautiful and extremely necessary part of the work is relying on volunteers and people that are just so enthusiastic about the work. Those are the people that make Bread and Puppet possible.
It's all about the love that they have.
A love that has helped spread Peter's message all over the world, that art is for everyone.
In 1984, I believe was the year, Peter wrote the Cheap Art Manifesto.
There was New York Times advertising how good art is for you, for investment, for decorating your banks. And so they made a big thing and we made fun of them. We took our bus with little paintings and sold them for 10 and 15 cents.
Art should be cheap and available to everybody. It needs to be everywhere. Art is not food, but it feeds you.
Feeding your stomach and your soul.
1, 2, 3.
Abracadabra.
Push button number 1. Oh, these are just right.
Good.
That's how I like them.
That also kind of directly relates to the name Bread and Puppet.
We have to test it, and if they don't die, then it's good, then it's not poisonous.
Peter has been baking his whole life. His family were refugees during World War II, and they were baking rye bread to live and survive.
It's good.
Help yourself.
After every show that the theater performs, we serve sourdough rye bread. The thought is that while you are chewing this incredibly dense bread, it is also giving you an opportunity to chew on what you just witnessed and kind of think about the art.
We celebrate Mother Dirt's holy dirt. And we are calling for all the idiots of the world to unite against the idiot system because it doesn't make any sense.
So you fight the system when
We
you
are
can.
fighting them.
With bread
Yes.
and puppets.
That's right.
up.